You are listening to the story, The Female Lead Role is Mine. Even a reborn supporting character is useless. Broadcast on the YouTube channel, Mimi Audio. I've always liked being the female lead. In my previous life, I managed to grab a guaranteed admission spot to Tsinghua University in Beijing, a spot that a wealthy young lady from the upper-class circles didn't even need. After graduation, I even married into a rich family, transforming overnight from a countryside girl into the wife of the richest man alive. At 28, I had already gone through all the crucial turning points that changed my destiny. But after just one night's sleep, I opened my eyes and found myself back at 18. In front of me, streams of comments suddenly appeared out of thin air. The female lead sure is lucky. She snatched a life that should have belonged to the supporting character. In my past life, that wealthy heiress acted like she was under some spell. She threw away her guaranteed admission to attend some no-name college with a dirt-poor boy. And not only that, she even handed over the rich male lead, who had treasured her in the palm of his hand since childhood, to someone else. A perfect hand of cards, played to ruin. Isn't that just the plot deliberately lowering the IQ of the supporting character to clear the way for the heroine? Good thing she was reborn. This time, it's definitely the supporting character's counterattack. Let's see how Jung Ming-yu, without that heiress's background, can still play the female lead this life. I am Jung Ming-yu. And who says I can't be the female lead? Anyone who only thinks of snatching back what they've lost has already lost from the very beginning. Half dreaming, I opened my eyes and caught sight of my deskmate Shen Xiaoyu, who looked overjoyed. She quickly rushed out the back door of the classroom, ran to the class next door, and shouted the name of Shunko, the man who became my husband in my previous life. Throwing herself into his arms, she sobbed bitterly. "Brother Sheng, this time I definitely won't be stupid anymore." Ashenko froze for a moment, then revealed a look of joy, fumbling to comfort her in a panic. Lines of comments appeared before my eyes again. Yes, this makes sense. A wealthy heiress should naturally be with the richest young master. And Jiang Mingyu, that little country bumpkin. On what basis does she deserve the female lead script of a counterattack? Jiang Mingyu is nothing but a thief who picks up scraps. This kind of female lead we do not acknowledge. Good thing the heiress has awakened. This time Jung Mingyue will surely be kicked back to her rural hometown. I sat there dumbfounded, staring at the math workbook on my desk. The complicated formulas told me clearly I had really returned to my senior year of high school with only 1 month left before the college entrance exams. The seat next to me was already occupied. Shen Qiaoyu's eyes were red, but they shone with a dazzling light. She curled her lips into a triumphant smile, her face full of confidence. "Jiang Mingyue, I will definitely take back everything that belongs to me. Just you wait." I smiled, without replying. Honestly, I was looking forward to it as well. Another life. What kind of path would I walk this time? The school bell rang. Our homeroom teacher walked in with an excited expression. Shen Qiaoyu's face was filled with uncontrollable joy. The comments flashed like lightning. "It's here, it's here. The heiress's guaranteed admission notice has arrived. This is the first turning point in Jung Mingyu's fate. Without stealing this spot, how could she have ever entered Tsinghua? Someone who doesn't work hard and only steals the fruits of others is nothing but a sewer rat. In the end, she even stole the heiress's fiancé, married into wealth, and made everyone jealous. Truly shameless." The very next second, the teacher announced, "Congratulations, Shen Qiaoyu, for successfully receiving a guaranteed admission to Tsinghua University." Amid thunderous applause, she looked at me with feigned regret. Although both you and Shen Chaoyu placed in the competition, there is only one guaranteed admission spot. In my previous life, Shen Chaoyu's score was higher than mine by half a point. According to ranking, I lost. But to everyone's surprise, she rejected it. Teacher, guaranteed admission is the lowest form of entry. Please give this spot to someone who needs it more. Because of that one line, the whole class looked at her differently. The homeroom teacher even teased her. Then I'll wait for you, Shen Chaoyu, to win the top provincial score and bring honor to our school. But the truth was that she had already been brainwashed by her delinquent boyfriend, planning to attend the same college with him, for the sake of some so-called earth-shattering romance. She endured sneaking around in secrecy. Even holding hands had to be done like a thief. Shen Chaoyu basked in endless praise, while I, the one who accepted the guaranteed admission, was mocked. Trash picked up from others. Scavenger, shameless. Did I care? Not at all. With my grades barely hovering around Xinghua's cutoff line, I treasured this opportunity dearly. Shen Chaoyu had the background to withstand failure in the college entrance exam. But I, a girl from the countryside, did not. A stable future mattered more than empty pride. But now, in this life, Shen Chaoyu declared firmly, I accept the guaranteed admission to Tsinghua University. Amid whispers of admiration, she turned to me and sneered, Zhang Mingyue, you must be so disappointed, right? Of course she is. She must be grinding her teeth in anger. Guaranteed admission is amazing. Just imagine the heiress dumping that thug and entering the same university as the male lead. How satisfying. Shen Chaoyu took a deep breath, her body trembling slightly, as if she finally felt the realness of being reborn. Sorry, but this guaranteed admission is mine. I only gave a faint smile. Congratulations! 10 years. In the 10 years between 18 and 28 of my past life, I studied non-stop from bachelor's to master's to doctorate, while working desperately in the Sheng Corporation. Meanwhile, Shen Chaoyu spent her time playing childish games of chasing and sulking, having abortions, running away from home with that thug. What I gained was not just 10 years of knowledge, but also the ability to judge accurately and the fearless confidence to face anything. It was just a college entrance exam. In this life, I already had confidence in myself. No surprises, no failures. But Shen Chaoyu thought I was just bluffing. She looked at me with disdain. I really look forward to the moment when the exam results come out in 2 months, to see what your face will look like then. She was smug, certain that I would be humiliated. But she only got to feel proud for one class period. The appearance of Wei Nian made her face turn pale with fear. Wei Nian was a notorious troublemaker and Shen Chaoyu's current boyfriend. As the only daughter of the wealthy Shen family in Beijing's upper-class circle, her value was obvious, and Wei Nian's motives for chasing her were plain to see. He stormed in angrily, kicking hard at my desk. Didn't you say you would go to the same university as me? What do you mean by this now? Shen Chaoyu glared at him. Why should I listen to you? With your pathetic grades, you can only get into some trashy university. How could you even say that? The commotion was so big that the classroom door was crowded with onlookers. Hearing Shen Chaoyu's voice, Shinko from the next class rushed in, shielding her behind him. His voice was cold. If you want to cause trouble, get out. This isn't the place for you to go crazy. Insulted repeatedly, Wei Nian flew into a rage. He pointed at Shen Chaoyu and spat venom. You think this whore is worth your secret crush? You don't know, do you? She's been acting all flirty, saying that after graduation, she'd give me her first time. Ha! This is the first time I've seen a wealthy heiress begging to sleep with me. Tell me, isn't she cheap? Shen Qiaoyu trembled with rage. Then, as if realizing something, she pointed straight at me. It was you, wasn't it? You couldn't get my spot. So you deliberately brought him here to ruin my reputation. Zhang Mingyue, you're shameless. You and him are both up to no good, trying to steal from me. The comments practically exploded with anger, furious on Shen Qiaoyu's behalf, cursing me. No wonder Wei Nian knew so quickly. She must have already colluded with Zhang Mingyue. In her past life, the heiress was deceived by Wei Nian. She was pure and kind, raised under the care of her family, and Shenko since childhood. How could she recognize such a scheming man, deliberately approaching her? Let alone deal with the cunning Zhang Mingyue. No wonder she fell into their trap. She suffered terribly last life, but now that she's awakened, those two are doomed. I burst out laughing. If you're delusional, get treatment. I haven't even moved from my seat this whole class. You blind. You caused your own mess, and you still want to blame me. The classmates around us looked at one another, nodding in agreement with my words. Shen Qiaoyu's face flushed red, unable to speak. Wei Nian was driven out, but he left chaos behind. My books were scattered across the floor. As I quietly picked them up, I suddenly found myself face to face with Shunko, who was also bending down. Our eyes met, as if it were just yesterday. Just a moment ago, he had still been calling my name in bed, gently comforting me after love. We had been married for 3 years, even planning to have a child. But after just one night's sleep, I had returned to 18. The boy before me was no longer the man I was familiar with. The 18-year-old Shunko didn't love Jiang Mingyu, yet right now he looked at me with surprise. Have we met somewhere before? I froze. In the 3 years of high school, I had only buried my head in books. I had never had any interaction with him. Even when Shen Qiaoyu was my deskmate, she was busy with her romance with Wei Nian, never caring about Shenko, and never letting him come to class to look for her. Why would he suddenly ask that, just as I was about to speak? Shen Qiaoyu cut in, nervously, shoving me aside to stand in front of Shenko. Brother Sheng, you're overthinking. She's just a country bumpkin. How could she have anything to do with us? Shenko's eyes wavered, but in the end, he nodded. Sorry, I must have mistaken her for someone else. He handed me the correction notebook in his hand, filled with solutions to the hardest questions from the national exam. I had written formulas all over it. Shenko looked surprised. You actually solved it? Can I see your method? Shenko was the top student of the whole school, but because of Shen Qiaoyu, he hadn't participated in this exam. Shen Qiaoyu immediately grew tense, snatching the notebook from his hand. Brother Sheng, why are you asking her? Her grades aren't even as good as mine. What method could she possibly come up with? Besides, if you couldn't solve it, how could she? Her whole body looked as if she were about to burst into tears. Having been reborn once again, she was terrified that with even the slightest carelessness, she would repeat the same mistakes, stepping onto the same road as in her past life, pushing away the man who loved her most and handing him over to someone else. Brother Sheng, you don't even care whether I'm scared or not. Do you not want me anymore? The comments appeared with an air of ease. Miss, don't worry. Ko Sheng doesn't need anyone, but he could never not need you. Even in the past life, after he had already married Zhang Mingyue. The moment he heard that Shen Qiaoyu had run into trouble, didn't the male lead still abandon the female lead to go find her? Miss Shen truly was the one in the male lead's heart. Actually, I think that 7 years later, the male lead did sincerely like Zhang Mingyue. After all, from university until they entered the co-corporation, the two of them endured hardships. Together, with firewood close to the flame, it was inevitable for sparks to catch. Moreover, the female lead was also outstanding. It was just that the supporting character chose the wrong person. Upstairs must have been brainwashed by the plot. The developments later on, it's obvious, were controlled by the story. The female lead was just a girl from the countryside. How could she ever compare with Miss Shen? Besides, who knows if her approach to the male lead was purely out of sincerity? The words, "I am not worthy of Ko Sheng." This wasn't the first time I had heard them. Back in university, we had already begun collaborating on scientifics, research projects. Even our supervising professor had said our abilities were on par, a brilliant young man and woman who matched each other well. But not a single person ever said we were suited to be together, to get married, because even a random cufflink that Ko Sheng carelessly revealed had a considerable price tag, while I was still wearing canvas shoes, washed until they had faded pale. Class was a deep chasm of separation that ordinary people might never be able to cross, no matter how hard they tried their whole lives. In the following month, Shen Xiaoyu ran to the neighboring class every single day to look for So Sheng, but wherever I was, she would definitely pull him away, not allowing us to meet. That unusual behavior from Ko Sheng that day finally made her afraid. Time flew quickly, and the college entrance exam arrived as scheduled. Everyone buried their heads anxiously in stacks of review materials. It was truly a case of waiting until the last minute to start cramming. Only I calmly carried my exam bag and leisurely walked toward the exam room. The comments continued to mock me. Is this lady planning to just give up? Everyone else is studying, but she's the only one acting like it's just another school day. She must know that struggling is useless now. After all, the guaranteed admission is gone. I haven't even seen her study much this past month. She probably won't even make it into a 211 university in the end. Of course, she can't be compared to Miss Shen. I pretended not to hear. Suddenly, the comments broke into a fierce argument. Lines of text flashing by rapidly. A scene of utter chaos. Shen Xiaoyu has been taken away by Wei Nian. What? Wasn't she not planning to take the college entrance exam? Why would she show up at school? That shameless Wei Nian actually dared to secretly take nude photos of Shen Xiaoyu to threaten her. Bastard. What do we do now? The teachers and guards are all maintaining order at the main teaching building. No one is paying attention to that abandoned storage room. Has Wei Nian gone insane? Shen Xiaoyu has been acting so strange lately. He must have noticed. What is he trying to do? Don't tell me he wants to drag her down with him and force himself on her. My heart suddenly sank, and my footsteps stopped. The very next second, I turned around and ran toward the storage room. Once 15 minutes after the exam began had passed, no one would be allowed into the room. But what lay before me was a girl's helpless cries for help. Before the absolute difference in strength between man and woman, if Wei Nian truly wanted to force Shen Xiaoyu, she would have no way to escape. I quickened my pace. What is Zhang's Mingyu trying to do? She should be going to the exam room, but this is the direction to the storage room. She knows Shen Xiaoyu was taken away by Wei Nian. Could it be that she's one of the masterminds behind this? The person upstairs is right. She lost her guaranteed admission, so she must resent Shen Xiaoyu. Maybe she really did collude with Wei Nian. Ignoring the barrage of comments, I ran as fast as I could and just happened to run into a security guard on patrol. When the guard and I arrived, Wei Nian was grabbing Shen Xiaoyu by the hair, tormenting her over and over, nearly tearing her clothes apart. Shen Xiaoyu was frantically screaming for help. "What are you doing?" the security guard roared. With the guard's arrival, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. The abandoned storage room was over 10 minutes away from the exam hall, but in the end, I still managed to sit down in my seat within the 15-minute mark. I had no time to pay attention to the shocked comments, focusing all my heart on the exam instead. The exams lasted for 3 days straight, and I grew more confident with each passing day. The moment I walked out of the exam room, a few police officers were already waiting in front of me. "Student Jiang Mingyue, please come with us." My gaze darkened. My classmates instantly gathered around, whispering about my supposed crimes. "Have you heard? On the first day of the college entrance exam, Shen Chaoyu was almost assaulted by Wei Nian. Apparently, Jiang Mingyue was the mastermind behind it. What does Jiang Mingyue have to do with it? Could it be because of the guaranteed admission to Tsinghua? Jiang Mingyue is truly vicious. If something happened to Shen Chaoyu, wouldn't that slot fall into her hands? That countryside girl really is malicious." In my 12th year, this school had spent 100,000 yuan to invite me in as part of their push for admission quotas into top universities like Tsinghua and Peking. 100,000 yuan. All of it had been taken by my father to pay off gambling debts. Every month, he would even take a special trip by train to the city, leaving with more than half of my living allowance. The entire school knew I was a countryside girl with a crude, vulgar father. No one wanted to come near me. The comments seemed to be waiting for me to be disgraced. Is she going straight to prison right after graduation? I thought she was pretty serious about her exams. Maybe she really did get into a 985 university. What a pity. If you bring trouble upon yourself, you can't escape it. Don't make wild guesses. I don't think Jiang Mingyue is that kind of person. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding. A few comments defended me, but they were quickly drowned out by malicious ones. I lowered my eyes, thinking about how I could prove myself. Being able to see these comments was already unbelievable, but I hadn't expected that the police taking me away wasn't for interrogation. Soon after, the day for the results announcement arrived. The school invited the top 30 students in the entire grade to return and check their scores. A group of reporters had long been waiting at the classroom, door to live stream across the entire internet. Major universities were even betting on who would be crowned provincial champion. Ko Sheng, who frequently ranked first in the senior year, naturally received much attention. In the last mock exam, Ko Sheng was first place again. It makes sense if he takes the provincial top spot. The school genius and Shen Chaoyu are such a perfect match. Talented and beautiful, well-matched families. They're even our school's Tsinghua Peking University power couple. I stood quietly in a corner of the classroom. The principal suddenly said, "Ah, that's right. Student Jiang Mingyue is also in the top 5 of our school. Have you estimated your score?" I nodded. "It should be over 700. The principal's gaze carried a trace of mockery. It was obvious he didn't believe me. My highest record in the 12th year had only been 685. The comments grew even more excited. "Ha ha ha. What international joke is she trying to tell now? Does she think she's funny? Stop making us laugh till our teeth fall out. Even Miss Shen doesn't dare say she can score over 700. What does she think she's relying on?" The principal began to check scores, starting from the top 30. The classroom atmosphere immediately grew tense. Cameras in the reporters' hands clicked non-stop. Finally, it reached the top 5. Before the principal could even enter my exam number, a call from the admissions office made him freeze. A call at this time could only mean that universities were fighting over students. The principal's whole face flushed with excitement. "If our school really produces a provincial champion, I'll treat everyone here to a grand banquet and even give out scholarships. Everyone who hears it will get a share." The classroom completely erupted. The phone was on speaker. "Principal Zhang, first of all, congratulations to your school for having a provincial champion. From now on, Your school gates will surely be trampled down. Second, I want to ask if Jung Ming-yu is there. Please have her take the call quickly. If someone else snatches her away, you won't forgive me." Principal Jang was both thrilled and dumbfounded. "What did you say? Jung Ming-yue. How many points did she score?" "The provincial champion in science with 728 points, breaking the highest record ever. 15 points higher than the runner-up, Ko Sheng." "Principal Zhang, you really are incredible." The call ended. The entire hall fell silent, everyone staring at each other in shock. Principal Zhang leaped up like a child, his gaze burning into me as if to pierce right through. Suddenly, he threw his head back in wild laughter, grabbed both my hand and Ko Sheng's, and shouted, "Good, good, good," 3 times in a row. The comments went even more insane. "What's going on? This has to be fake, right? How could Jang Ming-yu possibly score that high? Stop lying through your teeth. Is it really that hard to admit? The female lead is actually excellent. So what if she's the provincial champion? She's still going to prison. Miss Shen was almost assaulted. Go to jail already. The person upstairs must have amnesia. Who said it was Jung Ming-yu's fault?" At that moment, noise suddenly erupted outside the classroom. 2 plainclothes police officers entered. In one officer's hand was a certificate. Under everyone's eyes, they handed it to me. "We're delivering this on behalf of Shen Chaoyu. Thank you, Jung Ming-yu, for bravely doing the right thing." As soon as the words fell, all the whispers in the hall turned into awkward silence. Accepted the certificate with both hands and expressed my thanks. The reporters swarmed in excitement. They hadn't expected not only to witness the provincial champion announcement, but also to see the police awarding a certificate to her. This was definitely front-page news. At that very moment, my phone lit up with a string of messages from Shen Chaoyu. "This time you saved me. Let's consider the past written off. But the person who belongs to me, I can never hand him over to anyone else. From today on, I don't want you appearing in front of me again." The comments all praised in unison. Truly a young lady raised from childhood, under the teachings of an aristocratic family. Even though Jung Ming-yu had stolen everything from her in the previous life, Miss Shen still held no resentment, even helping to clarify rumors on her behalf. To be honest, Jung Ming-yu's luck was really extraordinary. For an ordinary person, having things come this far would already be enough, wouldn't it? Just the title of top provincial scorer was enough to make her shine, and yet the young lady even had the police deliver an award to her as well. On trending again, "You people are ridiculous. Clearly Jiang Mingyue saved Shen Chaoyu's life. Wasn't that simply the right thing to do?" At that moment, the situation was extremely dangerous. Without Jiang Mingyu, she might not have even survived. And yet the result is, you still claim Jiang Mingyue never held grudges about the past. This time, I really couldn't hold back anymore. Reading the story alongside brainless readers like you is truly unlucky. You just can't stand to see a poor girl rise up, can you? The guaranteed admission slot was obviously abandoned by Shen Chaoyu herself. Even if Zhang Mingyue approached the male lead with ulterior motives, so what? The male lead was still drawn in by her excellence. Did he absolutely have to stay bound to his so-called childhood sweetheart? Quietly, I curled my lips into a smile. Finally, after so long, there were a few people who actually understood among these comments. Shenko was the most outstanding and wealthiest man I could ever reach. My feelings for him were indeed because of his rare brilliance. I knew my background and connections were not enough to support lofty ambitions. So of course, my approach towards Shenko was not entirely pure. If a man could help me obtain what I wanted, Why shouldn't I take advantage of that? In order to make myself worthy of his status, after entering co-corporation, I risked everything to work tirelessly. I managed to win several major projects, and only then did I silence the gossip of the world. I was lost in thought for too long and failed to notice Shunko's increasingly strange gaze beside me. Immediately after graduating from high school, I not only relied on memories of my past life to earn my first pot of gold through stock trading, but also established a company in the industry with the greatest potential in the next 5 years. I recruited a group of young but highly capable founding shareholders, people I had already met in my previous life. They had ability but lacked capital. When university first began, military training was cancelled. That gave me more time to prepare proposals and bidding documents for a project soon to be undertaken by co-corporation. It was precisely this project that later pushed co-corporation to new heights, cementing its position as the wealthiest group in all of Beijing. That day, while I was hurriedly completing my proposal at school, I heard the news that Shenko and Shen Qiaoyu had become a couple. Shen Qiaoyu's ostentation left everyone stunned. Her social media feed updated at least once a day, the two of them constantly inseparable. The first time I saw them together at university, they seemed to be quarreling. Shengso pressed his temples, looking somewhat troubled. Xiaoyu, the company is busy with a major project right now. Can you wait until I finish before I come see you? In an instant, Shen Qiaoyu turned into someone completely different. For him, this was supposed to be good news. After all, she was the one he had promised to protect for life since childhood. But she truly was a bit too unusual, even if he was somewhat impatient. Shenko's gentlemanly demeanor would never allow him to reject her outright. Unexpectedly, Shen Qiaoyu's face darkened on the spot. What do you mean by that? Are you just like Nian? Once you have me, you don't know how to cherish me. You said you would take care of me forever. Are you going to break your promise? Do you even deserve my parents? Suddenly I felt an inexplicable dislike for such foolishness. She had been reborn once already. Why was she still playing these same petty tricks? Shenko's attitude was far too good to her. To keep him from meeting the original female lead, Shen Qiaoyu demanded to know his schedule every single day, all 24 hours, except when he was asleep. If she were my girlfriend, I would suffocate to death. In contrast, Zhang Mingyu was completely different. She never checked his phone, gave him absolute respect. On the contrary, the male lead even doubted whether Zhang Mingyu truly loved him or not. When Shen Qiaoyu lifted her eyes and saw me, her expression turned even uglier. Her eyes reddened as she shouted at me. Didn't I tell you not to appear in front of us again? I raised an eyebrow. If your brain is sick, then go see a doctor. Is this passageway built by your family? Her teeth ground together as she noticed Shenko, who had originally been looking at her, was now distractedly gazing at me. Shen Qiaoyu let out a shrill cry. Shenko, you've been bewitched by her, haven't you? Even after being reborn, you still can't stop looking at her. I clicked my tongue twice in my heart. No matter what, I could never understand this. Clearly Shen Qiaoyu possessed so much. Her parents' love, abundant material wealth, and an intelligent mind. Yet she never knew how to prioritize what mattered. For Shenko, at 18 years old, even if Shen Qiaoyu simply stood there doing nothing, he would still have approached her on his own. And even if Shenko didn't exist, so what? What she already had was more than most people could ever dream of. When Shenko saw Shen Qiaoyu run off, he looked somewhat guilty. Sorry, my girlfriend's mood hasn't been very good lately. I apologize on her behalf. Girlfriend. For a moment, I was dazed. In my previous life, Shunko's first love was me, but the one who taught him how to love from beginning to end was Shen Chaoyu. I knew that even after marrying me, even while loving me, he could never let go of Shen Chaoyu. He loved me openly, but took care of her secretly. Very well, reborn into another life. We were already walking different paths. I didn't need him anymore. 2 months later, Co-Corporation's project officially opened for bidding, with 6 years of work experience at Co-Corporation in my previous life, combined with careful preparation for this project. Unless something unexpected happened, my proposal was definitely the optimal solution. But the unfortunate thing was, my company had been established too recently. Many things had to be outsourced, and the costs weren't low. Whether Co-Corporation would select us for this plan was my greatest concern. I tightened my grip on the report in my hand. The next second, the proposal reported by Shen Corporation chilled my heart. It was identical to the result we had spent 4 sleepless months producing. One of my executive colleagues couldn't contain his anger. He slammed the table and stood up, laughing bitterly. How can your company guarantee that this proposal is truly your own work? Looking at their PowerPoint slides, not even the punctuation marks had been changed. I couldn't suppress a cold laugh. So it was Shen Chaoyu. But in her previous life, she went to a third-rate university, cared nothing for her studies, and never even joined Shen Corporation after graduation. She certainly had no opportunity to deal with Co-Corporation. Furthermore, this proposal had been refined and revised by me more than 50 times. It could only have been leaked by someone inside our own company. A thin layer of sweat dampened my palms. Losing a project was a small matter, but being accused of plagiarism in the industry, how would my company survive? Because of the plagiarism issue, the bidding was suspended. As soon as I walked out of Co-Corporation's building, a luxury car in front of me rolled down its window. It was Shen Chaoyu. I stared at her. It was you. She curled her lips in a triumphant smile. If you want to blame someone, blame your secretary for not resisting temptation. Zhang Mingyu, why did you have to get close to Co-Corporation? Couldn't you go anywhere else? A flicker of guilt flashed across her face, but vanished instantly. Don't blame me. I just don't want to walk the same old path again. You already stole everything from me once. These things should have been returned to me. After the initial shock, the comments turned sympathetic. She was just too afraid. She didn't really do anything wrong. Xiang feels sorry for her. She was spoiled since childhood. Got everything she wanted. Now she's just insecure. It's all Zhang Mingyu's fault. Without her, Shen Chaoyu would have lived happily for life. Are you people brainless? She didn't do anything wrong. Stealing the fruits of someone else's labor is justified. If not Zhang Mingyu, then it would have been Lu Mingyu or Ji Mingyu. Whoever dares seize the chance to become better is also wrong. You keep calling the female lead a thief, but I say she's the real thief. This time, I'm on Zhang Mingyu's side. Shunko is already with her. Why did Shen Chaoyu still have to be so ruthless? I saw with my own eyes these past 4 months. Zhang Mingyu stayed up till 1 or 2 a.m. every single day. Just when I thought there was no way out, Shunko appeared before me alone. The moment our eyes met, I knew he was different. Shunko had also been reborn. His gaze carried the steadiness, determination, and gentleness of 10 years later. His voice was hoarse. Mingyu, why didn't you come find me? You also returned to 10 years ago, didn't you? I know that proposal was yours. Only you could have produced it. His expression was clearly emotional, perhaps because the memory of us still being in each other's arms just moments ago was too vivid. If I said I felt nothing for him after being reborn, that would be a lie. But such feelings were far from enough for me to throw away my pride. It was exactly this brazenness that made Shenko at 18 like me just as much as he did at 28. Just as when Shen Qiaoyu and I stood before him, Shen Qiaoyu would always be the exception. In my past life, it wasn't that I hadn't voiced dissatisfaction, but with just one line. After all, she's my childhood neighbor. I promised her parents I would take Mingyu. Don't say such things. We are husband and wife. If you change your mind and need help, Co-Corporation will always welcome you. Watching his back as he patiently coaxed Shen Qiaoyu away, I couldn't help but sneer. If he truly wanted to, he could have handled it directly for me. Was he waiting for me to bow my head instead? Besides, had Shenko forgotten? He already had a girlfriend. 2 days ago, the head of the Huo Corporation contacted me directly, wanting to spend a huge sum of money to buy my proposal. Huo Yun, at 25 years old, could be said to be the youngest figure of authority among the aristocratic families in the capital, famous as a smiling tiger. In my previous life, I had heard quite a few rumors about him. Based on what I know of the Shen Corporation, they couldn't possibly have produced this proposal. So, Miss Jiang, right now, aside from me, no one else can help you. Are you sure you don't want to reconsider? 2 days later, I called him again. Mr. Huo, are you interested in cooperation? The proposal cannot be sold. It represents the painstaking effort of everyone in our team. But if the Huo Corporation is willing to cooperate, not only could it fill the shortcomings of our startup company, but it could also rely on Huo Corporation's existing resources to elevate the proposal to another level. I gritted my teeth. We are willing to demonstrate our utmost sincerity and within 2 years, help increase the net profits of Huo Corporation's biotech products by 20%. Huo Yun curved his lips, a flicker of amusement flashing in his eyes. Miss Jiang, you truly did not disappoint me. You are indeed a rare talent. From that day on, my life became a straight line of 3 points: school, company, and the Huo Corporation. Because of my outstanding achievements, I was excused from some general and unnecessary classes. In truth, part of it also had to do with some money invested. I didn't know how Huo Yun managed to arrange it. Now, the company that was supposedly in cooperation with the Co-Corporation had in name become the Huo Corporation, and I had become the chief planner of the Huo Corporation's cooperation proposal. For a startup company, being too sharp and too prominent was not necessarily a good thing, but because of this, I was enslaved by him, becoming his exclusive accompanying secretary. Watching him laugh heartily, I rolled my eyes in boredom. Idiot! He thought he had picked up free labor, but he didn't know that I only saw him as a stepping stone into the business world. Later that year, I had a new project and wanted to invite some investors. He raised his brows and made a gentlemanly bow. This humble Huo is more than willing. This business banquet was hosted by the Ko family, the wealthiest clan. As I entered the main doors, arm in arm with Huo Yun, I immediately met the disbelieving gaze of Shenko. He grabbed my wrist and pulled me aside, his face dark. As the future mistress of the Ko family, you're attending a banquet with another man? Don't forget you already have a husband. I shook off his hand and sneered. Don't slander me. I am still single. Thank you very much. And besides, aren't you also here with another woman? I pointed at Shen Qiaoyu, standing behind him. Shenko seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Mingyu, you misunderstood. You also know Xiaoyu has a rather childish temper. If I didn't bring her, she would have made a huge fuss. After the banquet, I'll make it up to you. I let out a weary sigh, completely out of patience. Shenko, are you still pretending? His entire body stiffened, shocked. What do you mean? I sneered. You still want to keep both sides. You really are shameless. Tell me, all this time, have you ever broken up with Shen Chaoyu? Seeing his face go pale, I said indifferently, in the end, people are always bound for life by the things they could not obtain in their youth. Those words were written by your own hand on the day we married. Of course, I don't mean to blame you. After all, my purpose in marrying you wasn't pure either. Now that we've been reborn, changing into a different life, isn't that exactly what you wanted? Suddenly, an arm wrapped around my shoulders. Huo Yun blew lightly by my ear. What's this? In broad daylight, abandoning your boyfriend here to reminisce with your old flame. That doesn't look very good, does it? I kicked him. Get lost. Straightening my rumpled collar, I said coldly, You've misunderstood. At most, he's only my current boss. Aside from being classmates, there's nothing else between us. Shenko's face turned frighteningly dark, unable to maintain his usual gentle demeanor. What is your relationship with him? The Huo Corporation was the greatest competitor for Ko Corporation's future development. Facing a Huo Yun, who had already seized power at 22, if not for me in my previous life, Shenko would never have been able to hold his ground after taking over Ko Corporation. Huo Yun blinked. What relationship? Of course I'm her pursuer. He poked my shoulder. Little Mingyu, when will you finally let me become official? I looked at him with disgust. You're too old. In a few years your muscles will sag. The older a man gets, the less he's worth. I have money and ability. If I'm going to look for someone, it will be a fresh young man. The smile on Huo Yun's face froze, irritation flashing through. Zhang Mingyue, you look down on me. Have you even tried before dismissing me? As I sparred verbally with Huo Yun and walked away, Shunko's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. When I came out of the restroom, I ran into Shen Chaoyu. Her face showed clearly that she had been crying. Her eyes bloodshot. Zhang Mingyue, let me tell you a secret. Your rebirth was because I traded 10 years of my life to the system. I wanted you to personally watch how, after living again, I would take back everything that belonged to me. I held her in place. I truly didn't know about this. Her eyes shifted from resentment to sorrow. I wanted you to watch yourself, fall from heaven to hell, to taste the pain I once endured in the previous life. But why is it that even after living again, you still live better than me? Why does Shenko still care for you? Why are you the female lead, while I'm doomed to be the supporting role? Since childhood, I was cherished by my parents, spoiled, and given everything I wanted. Nian was the first boy who acted indifferent toward me. I thought I had found true love. I pushed Shenko away myself, not realizing, understand how to seize the present. You live forever in the past. You forgot that you are the heiress of the Shen Corporation, a student directly admitted to Tsinghua and Peking University, and Shenko's childhood sweetheart. His feelings for you are irreplaceable. What you don't understand even more is that being the female lead is something you create yourself, not the readers, not anyone else, but you yourself, becoming the female lead of your own life. With your mindset, no matter how many times you live again, you will only ever be a supporting character in someone else's story. Watching her stand there stunned, for the first time, I sincerely thanked her. Shen Chaoyu, thank you for giving me the chance to become who I am now. Compared to the title of female lead in the mouths of others in my previous life, I prefer the version of myself I created now. Half a year later, the company gradually went on track and expanded steadily. Shenko eventually broke up with Shen Chaoyu. He still came around every so often, lingering before me, trying to catch my attention, attempting to rekindle what we had in truth. Looking back now, Half my feelings for him were because of his decent face, his not bad physique compared to his peers, and most importantly, the resources of the wealthiest Ko family. I pointed at Huo Yun beside me. Now I've realized, with just a bit more effort, he could replace Ko Corporation within 2 years. Although he's a little old, at least he knows how to coax me. Plus, he doesn't come with all that messy baggage of childhood sweethearts, soulmates, or irreplaceable white moonlights. I shook my head with mock regret. Calculated carefully. You're still not up to par. Shenko curled his lips. Mingyu, we've been married for 3 years, and we're about to have a child. Are you sure you want to say such willful words to me? Huo Yun could no longer stand it. He called security. What a pain. There's a lunatic here trying to steal my wife. Get him out of here. I stretched out my hand to stop him. Excuse me? I decline. I am 19 years old, with both talent and beauty, lovely as a flower, and currently unattached. Huo Yun's face changed instantly as he leaned closer. Didn't you say you'd give me a chance? Big sister, you tricked me. Expressionless, I pushed him away. Move. I agreed to give you a chance, but I never said I'd accept you. At 19, I'm at the age of wanting to explore. There are so many fine young men out there. Innocent puppy types, domineering wolf types. Meet one, love one. Women, by nature, can't control that. Gritting his teeth, Huo Yun glared resentfully and summoned his secretary. From today, schedule weekly spa appointments for me and extend my gym membership for another 50 years. I couldn't help but smile. The pursuit of handsome men is the glory of a great woman. With a bulging wallet, resources delivered to my door, and somehow even growing 10 years younger. Being the female lead like this is truly delightful. The journey ahead is still long, with many more stories waiting for us to uncover. See you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to Mimi Audio so you won't miss out.